Hi you guys, this is Rachel Kirkland here, the Modern Shaman. Thank you for being with me for another YouTube video question of the week. If you're new to my channel, you are absolutely welcome here. I love having new faces, new voices to comment and share and just be a part of our community. This is a beautiful space for you to learn more about your intuitive gifts and the sacred arts of connecting to the non-physical. So if you're interested in this, if you yourself are a healer or just curious and wanting to know more about your metaphysical connections in the world beyond just the physical world, then this is a great place for you and you're absolutely welcome here. If you'd like to send in your own questions for these videos, these all come from you guys. Questions, well, the answers come, but the questions are directed just from the viewers. And that's what I love about it. It's completely relevant in this moment for what you guys are interested in and what's on your hearts. So the way that you send in your questions is to go to my website, which is themodernshaman.net. Go to the very last page, which is the contact form. And on that contact form, just type in that you have a question for the YouTube videos, write in your question, it gets sent to my team, and they put it into a folder for these YouTube videos. So it just goes in the queue, and at some point your question comes up and we answer it here. So I hope it blesses you in a way that you feel is truly profound, that it's something meaningful for you. So I'm going to dive into the question for Dear Rachel. Thanks so much for your amazing guidance and insight and help. I am truly grateful. I wanted to know what module in your online masterclass modules will teach me your technique for boundaries and protection. Also, what do you recommend I do in the morning and the evening to protect myself and my family from unwelcomed, low vibration energies and entities? Thank you so much. That was brilliant, first of all, that you asked about the modules, because I kind of forgot to say that. This is the way Spirit works it out. I forgot to say that at the beginning of this video. So if you're interested in further developing your skills or some specific modules that will kind of help you in integration of this path, not just learning it in the academic way, but truly putting it into action in your life, then my online teaching modules are a phenomenal resource for you. There are 44 different teaching modules, and they are cumulative and consecutive. So you can take the entire masterclass at your own pace of the video modules with all of the downloadable videos and downloadable PDFs and kind of worksheets and the guided meditation and guided activations. It's a phenomenal set of masterclass information. But the first, you said which modules? So the first two modules are what I would recommend, and they're foundational. Even your question is foundational for your interaction in the non-physical world, and this is why I teach it first. So module number 1, which is about learning how to set intention. Don't skip that module. If you want to go on and you go straight to, shape-shifting, or you want to learn about remote viewing, or you go to something like that because that's what you're curious about, but you skip module number 1, which is just setting your intention, learning how to line up with your whole entirety of your energy, then you kind of miss the boat, because then you're kind of playing at it like the way that people used to play at Ouija boards, all right? And it's not always a sense of safety and engaging there without wisdom and discernment of what you're actually doing. And I don't say that to scare people off. I simply say that with a sense of wisdom, because I too once was completely naive to my interactions in the non-physical world. Most of us are, until we start becoming very active in our astral traveling or remote viewing or shape-shift. These tools that we all have access to, but we aren't using readily or with a sense of conscientious awareness. And so the first module teaches you how to set a very clear psychic intention in your internal realm, using your own psychic, again, intentions, and then how to project them into the non-physical and physical realms, how to manifest or create a sense of alignment, body, mind, and soul. How to mean what you say. This is the ancient sacred ability to create through verbal affirmation, through spell work, through incantation, through prayer. It doesn't matter what you call it in terms of semantics, how you language what you're doing. It's a verbal and sometimes nonverbal, but through your clairaudient or your telepathic communication, to speak to non-physical and to wholeheartedly line up 100% with the energy of that intention, and to know how to create through that verbal, again, be it externally through the use of the vocal cords, through particular, very specific and precise intonations, like 4 hertz. We hold an alpha tone of energy in the vocal toning if we're going to do it out loud, or how to do it in the internal realm, and how to mean what you say with such precision through the pranic tube, the alignment of your light body, that you emanate out from the source of the alpha energy. This is very different from prayers that are like, please, 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 please. This is in the creation space. If you are not aware of how to do that, this is also, it's fundamental and foundational for how to create psychic boundaries, which is your question there. So that's the first, it's the very first module because it's the most important. It's foundational to everything else. You cannot do healing work on someone else and try and move out the cancer if you don't know how to align with what you're doing, body, mind, and soul. These are weak frequencies, or weak kind of hertz or frequencies that you're creating in the regular world if we are unintentional with how to use our vibrational essence. So that's the first module I would recommend to you, module 1. The second module, which is on psychic protection, goes through some specific ways, and I like really just throwing out a lot of different tools for your psychic tool belt to find one that really resonates with you. So this is how that module is structured. It's not just like the Rachel method, because a lot of systems are set up that way. Here's my method, learn my method. Well, that method may not work for you. It may not be your method. And so I bring out and suggest a lot of different methods and encourage you to try them all and to see what you really resonate with, what you really feel the strength of and the solidarity with your own sovereign body. The one that just like you feel it in your bones. This is my way. This is the way I like to feel protected. So whether that be through prayer or whether that be through the elementals or the angels, there's many, many different ways to protect yourself. But the most important factor is to notice what you align with, what your energy feels is true, and what you recognize as a resonant harmony frequency for you, and then do the practices that resonate. So that's the second module on psychic protection. And those modules, you guys, they're under $60. I think they're all like $58, $57, $56. They're all kind of underneath that $60 realm. So accessible. It's not a major fee. It's super accessible. And I'm not trying to pitch it, but I do think it's very useful. It's very relevant. I believe in my curriculum. I created it because I use it. And I believe in it. So all that being said, those are the first 2 modules. Check them out. You go to the website, go to online learning or online teaching. So you go to the teaching tab, then you go to online classes or online course. And then each one, it's like a square space. You know, they flip up. The modules kind of flip up. And the first 2 modules have the title of Setting Intention and Psychic Protection. Those are the 2 I would recommend. So the second part of your question, I'm going to reread it so I can focus. It says, what do you recommend I do in the morning and the evening to protect myself and my family from unwelcomed low vibration energies and entities? So morning routines, one of the things I like to do to start the day is meditation. And if this seems like this is a feat that is undoable for you, I would say lay in bed after your alarm goes off for a few minutes, maybe give yourself 5 minutes, to work through a visual prayer or visual practice of psychic protection for you and your family. One of the ones that I do regularly is setting my children in a Merkaba. It's the most tried and true. It has been done for ages. When it comes to a sense of shielding from the non-physical world, it's actually called the Shield of David, not just the Star of David. The Shield of David, if you look at it, it's called the Shield of David, sometimes called the Shield of Solomon. It's associated with Hermetics, with Rosicrucian work. These are various ancient spiritual sects, right, with a T. If you can't hear my pronunciation. It's also in Kabbalah. It's also in a lot of Knights Templar. It's also in even the current Templars. It's also associated through a lot of ancient alchemy and the feminine and the masculine. So this goes back to the alchemal balance, also with elementals. All the elementals are in there. It also goes way back to ancient astrology and the traditional seven, like the 7 old planets. And there's just so much surrounding this ancient symbol, whether it's seen as the pentagram or whether it's seen as the Star of David. And like I shared, the Shield of David. It's also associated with archangels, again, in the Rosicrucian process. There's so much connected with this sacred geometric shape. And so it is, if you're unfamiliar with the Star of David or the Shield of David, it's the triangle up and the triangle down, and it creates that pointed star. Now, when these are spun, are moved through space, they begin to take on multidimensional aspects, and this becomes a Merkaba. So what I do in the morning is I lay, or if I'm meditating, I do this while I'm meditating, just a quick practice visually to set my children. It's like a prayer over my children, but I do it visually because I'm predominantly clairvoyant, and so I line up really strongly with visuals. My mind always speaks to me through imagery and symbols, and so this is an easy one for me to go to trust and to feel the alignment of security with protection for my family. And so I move into my interior space, and this is what I would recommend for you to do, whether it's you seeing yourself standing there as if you're in a black screen or green screen area, right, standing. And then I create a triangle above the body, so it points at the top of the head, and it creates the bottom bracket right around the hips. And then I create a bottom triangle that points between the legs and has the 2 sides here above the shoulder blades and comes here. So I create a top one, and then I take the top pointed triangle like a flap. I spin it here, and so it's spinning underneath me and over me. So the top of the triangle is coming here, and the bottom is going underneath me, spinning, spinning, spinning here. And then I take the triangle on the side that has the 2 pointed edges here and the point between my legs, and I spin it here. Okay? And this spin almost is like a hula hoop around your shoulders. So I spin it this way, and this creates like a gyroscope. All right? It creates a centrifugal force or field active around the body. This is the Merkaba. This is also known as a travel, like a portal space. But essentially it creates a sacred space from which you in the center are at perfect point equilibrium. You are at that central point in the movement that has perfect equanimity. So I set this also for my children. So I would visualize each one of them, see the triangle over them, see the triangle under them, move the first top flat forward, spin the side, see them kind of walking around, running around, going to recess, moving, all the while in this bubble, in this sphere of activated energy where they are held in complete peace and serenity in the center, like the eye of the storm, right? And yet they're able to completely move and be protected and shielded by this Shield of David. So this is a beautiful sacred geometric way to keep your family in protection. It's a morning practice to set it for the day, like I'm protected for the day. You can also bring in the archangels, ask a sense of spherical protection to set their angel wings around someone if you align with the angelic kingdom. Some people feel very drawn to that, so it's part of that as well. It's inclusive of the masculine, the feminine balance also. And so it's a very balancing sacred geometric shape to create a sense of protection that keeps you in your own sense of masculine and feminine balance. And a practice that I would recommend for nighttime is, first of all, for energies, not entities, but energies, I would have a kind of like absorber stone. Whether this is something you walk over as a threshold, that where you have your doors lined with these kind of black stones or river rocks. But I would set a sense of deliberate, intentional black stones that are your absorber stones to absorb any residual energy that you picked up from the day. If you want the big guns, you could always hold a river rock. Let me see. Time out. All right, I had to go grab this. So this is a palm-sized black river rock, and I get these from the black stone massage places. You can get them online, but essentially it's a stone that you would use for heated stone massage therapy. But it's perfect size to palm, and you can hold it as you come in or have it set kind of where you put your keys, and you just grab it for a second and set the intention for any entities or energies that are not for your highest good that you may have picked up along the day, especially like little energetic hitchhikers, especially if you have a highly intense emotional job. Maybe you work in psychiatric medicine or health. Maybe you just have a job that's very emotionally, physically draining, spiritually draining. Maybe you work as a parole officer or in retention centers for youth, or maybe you just work at a regular office job, but there's some intense energy in that job. Then I would have a stone that's your absorber stone, and just again make it a practice for you that's not overly difficult or complicated. So right next to where you put your keys, there's a black stone there. Every day you just put your hand on it, close your eyes, and set the intention that everything that's unwanted, meaning that is no longer in vibrational resonance with your highest intention of love and light, must leave the body and move into the stone. And then a meditative practice or a prayer practice at the end of the day before you move into the dream space would be to set the intention for your dream space usage. And you can do this through using the imagery of sleep. So you would close your eyes right before you go to bed, you'd pull up that blanket or whatever it is, and you would visualize that blanket itself is like an ultraviolet light or a full white light, illuminant of love and peace, and it is creating a sense of protection for you. Again, if you align with the angelic community, you may ask Archangel Michael in its form of protection to cover you and to hold you in a safe space, clear of any hurt, harm, and danger while you sleep. This is inclusive of your dream space, and you can state that through this waking world as well as my dream space, that I may be clean and clear and pure of any hurt, harm, and danger, aligned with the highest vibration of restoration for my body and my mind and my soul as I sleep. Something like that, like a practice prayer, similar to the way that with children we have night-night prayers, right? We have nighttime routines that set us for a sense of protection. Again, those were done by the ancients in many communities to align with the light before bed, where it was said that children were more susceptible to darkness, or by susceptible I just mean, or targets. They were pure and they were innocent and unaware or unintelligent of how to create these safe boundaries for themselves. So we as the parents, or those that would create a structure for them, would say a nighttime prayer to invite in the entities that we viewed as highly vibrationally aligned with love and light, whether it be our deities as well as our ancestors. All of these that truly embodied love for us and a sense of protection, we would call them in through our prayer time. So creating a prayer that has a bit of limerick and that has a flow, to its rhythm and pentameter, so it's easy to repeat. Rhyme is easy to repeat. This is easy for children if they're young. It's also just easy for us as adults. Again, these are simple techniques, but they've been used by our ancient spiritual communities for a very long time because they work. Why do you think they're told through oral tradition? To upkeep a sense of pattern to what you're saying. So creating short poem type of stanzas that you're able to repeat in prayer form or in protection form for yourself and your family right before you fall asleep. Essentially, it moves you through that theta brainwave state where you're kind of asleep, but you're not really asleep. That is the brain wave state that you're also in through hypnosis. So you're setting a sense of self-hypnosis statement and trigger for yourself to move you through the non-physical realms and the complete sense of protection for you and your family. I hope that is a blessing to you all, and it's a resource, and that you may share it with those that you love or care about and continue on your path. I will sign off here. I'll see you guys next week. Mwah! Blessings.